Morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. I'm going to do our March the 29th just for today in a meditation. I hope you are doing well this morning. Title of the meditation is Our Own True Will. God's will for us consists of the very things we most value. God's will becomes our own true will for ourselves. Now that comes from the basic text, page 48. It's human nature to want something for nothing. We may be ecstatic when a store cashier gives us back change for a 20, though we only paid with a 10. We tend to think that if no one knows, one small deception won't make any difference. But someone does know. We do. And it does make a difference. What worked for us when we use frequently doesn't work long in recovery. As we progress spiritually by working the 12 steps, we begin to develop new values and standards. We begin to feel uncomfortable when we take advantage of situations that, when we used, would have left us gloating about what we had gotten away with. In the past, we may have victimized others. However, as we draw closer to our higher power, our values change. God's will becomes more important than getting away with something. When our values change, our lives change too. Guided by an inner knowledge given us by our higher power, we want to live out our newfound values. We have internalized our higher power's will for us. In fact, God's will has become our own true will for ourselves. Just for today, by improving my conscious contact with God, my values have changed. Today, I will practice God's will, my own true will. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the We version of Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you, God. Grant us the serenity to accept things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. So we're talking about God's own true will, or our own true will, becoming what God's will is for us. I love this particular quote from the basic text, page 48. In particular, the last sentence that's noted here. God's will becomes our own true will for ourselves. I find it interesting that as an individual living in this world, I can self-will a lot of things. And, I think a lot of the things that I self-will are beneficial. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing them. But how amazing is it to think that something that is innate, such as acting on behalf of oneself, can line up with my higher power's will for me, with my God's will for me. And I'm amazed at that. How is that possible? To be a human being and have my self-will become one with God's will. So now, instead of me serving myself, I'm more concerned with how I can be of service to God And oftentimes, what that means is that I'm of service to other people. I think this is quite an amazing meditation because it represents two separate wills becoming one by choice, of course, because the basic text tells us enforced morality lacks power. So it's by choice. When I surrender and I get tired of my unmanageability, I get tired of the chaos and confusion that I personally cause. When I get tired of that, I surrender my will. And I say to the God of my understanding, okay, show me what you want me to do. But beyond just showing me, give me an understanding of what it is you're asking me to do, because I need to have the power to actually do that. This is not something that happens overnight. Think about some of the people you admire the most. Hopefully you have, I'm yawning, guys, sorry. Hopefully you have someone in your life that you can say, oh, wow, I really admire. I love the energy that they carry. I love the way they interact with people. Think about this person. I'm sure there's someone that has amazed you with their character. Now, think about how long it took for them to become that individual that you admire. It didn't happen overnight. It happened through trial and error. It happened through surrender or submission, right? Surrender and submission seem like two different things to me. But at the end of the day, the essence of it, of the surrender, is that my way is not working. Right? Surrender, I think, is not only a state of mind, but I believe seriously that it's an action. And I surrender my will over to the care of God. That's third step stuff. Okay? So I begin to practice. God, what is your will? Make that obvious to me. And then by the time I reach the 11th step, I'm maintaining this on a daily basis. And not only am I understanding God's will, but I'm receiving the power, right? I'm not only receiving the knowledge of it, but I'm receiving the power to act in a way that states that I have an understanding of what God's will is for me. And it becomes my true will. Because, how is that possible that it can become my true will? Because I've realized that my self will, which is oftentimes in direct opposition to God's will, no longer works. And I want what works. Do you want what works? I do. I don't want to keep spinning my wheels, going around the same block 40 times. I don't want to do that. Do you? I want to see progression in my life. Not perfection, but progression. And I deserve that. And you know what? So do you. I know that every day is not a good day. I've had a few of them not be good days stacked up here recently. I understand that. Believe me, Mighty Stream gets that. How easy it is to think that you're in a good mood and having a conversation with someone and you're trying to I don't know, connect with them and find yourself throwing shade, find yourself saying something that's condescending, finding yourself spitting out vomit, and then beating yourself up for it, I understand that. Every day is not a good day. If I'm in pain and I have to do something that I normally would be able to do with a good attitude, I struggle sometimes. And I'm so sure that you do too. But that doesn't have any real effect that I'm a surrendered individual to the will of God and that I seek to turn my will over to God and I seek to understand, have knowledge of God's will for me and the power to carry that out. That's a long way from the third step all the way to the 11th step. And it doesn't happen overnight. It happens for me, all right? And I'll leave you with this. It happens oftentimes with my nails being dragged across the ground, right? I don't want to go. I don't want to do it. I don't want to say that. I don't want to be. And before I know it, I'm right where I'm supposed to be, saying and doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And it always feels so much better. Always. There's nothing worse than having a commitment in life and not showing up for it and the guilt and the shame that comes over you compared to the good feeling of wellness when you actually fulfill a commitment. You know what, guys? Just start with the small things. What do you know is not, how about that? Is not God's will for you? What do you know that is not? Write that down. And then speak the opposite of what you've written down. It is not God's will for me to be lazy. It is God's will for me to be active and healthy. And then do something that matches the energy of what you know is God's will. Okay. It's not His will for me to be lazy. It is His will for me to be healthy. I think I'll go take a walk. And I guarantee you, when you're done with that walk, I'm almost certain that there's going to be a lift in your energy. There's going to be something that says, and you did it. You finally did something that was God's will for you that is improving your health. See, we sometimes over spiritualize things because this is not saying go sit in a pew in the church. This is not saying go to the mosque and bow down. This is not saying go to the wall and pray. It's not saying any of that. It's saying that eventually, with a humble spirit and a spirit of surrender to the God of your own understanding, that in time, your own true will be God's will for you by choice, because that is what you want. How does a person go from being promiscuous, sleeping with anything and anybody, on their backs all the time to pay a bill or get high, to being an individual that has one mate, has been with that mate through sickness and in health, and is not out there flirting with other people, creating these other relationships, not involved in pornography, intimate sexually with one person that is their mate? How does that happen? Recovery. Recovery. Because within The 12 steps are the spiritual principles that we need to mold our life. And I can say that my true will is God's will because I have been dragged out of darkness, out of the lower destructive powers' grip to be able to live a life of freedom. And I'll never give that up. That one I won't change. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose as you contemplate your step 3 and step 11. As you think about it, may you have a beautiful day on purpose.